Here we are. Wow. I mean, wow. That's pretty much all I can say after that game. Still not 3 points, but Sheffield United against Norwich was more enjoyable when we're talking about a draw than the Blackpool game. Please do start letting me know your thoughts in the comments. I am, as you can tell, sweating after that one because there was just so much happening in that game. My name is Hal. Welcome to the Sheffield United Way. Don't forget, like and subscribe if you haven't already. I got in from a morning at the beach, saw the starting 11 and thought about going straight back to the beach. It did not inspire confidence. Maybe we'll hear really good reasons as to why the lineup surprised many, with Iliman and Ndiaye, Ollie McBurney, Tommy Doyle on the bench. I suppose you can't get injured if you're not playing. We also saw the inclusion of youngster Jili Bayabu. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. He can play midfield or left wing back, so it kind of makes sense. A left wing back would be on the bench. Former Crystal Palace youngster signed from Hornchurch. Maybe we'll get a chance to see a little bit more of him, as games go on. But I think it's unlikely. He was probably just on that bench as an emergency precaution if we lost someone like Ben Osborne to injury. Starting, we did have Norwich legend Robert Fleck's nephew, John Fleck, back in the first 11. James McAtee, Rhian Brewster, and captain Billy Sharp. Dean Smith, in front of 3,000 Norwich fans, named a strong Canaries side with some names familiar to Blades fans for their performances against us in previous encounters, the likes of Cantwell and Pookie. Interesting to see them play a 4-2-3-1 formation. And into the first half we went. Norwood tried to chip at Angus Gunn, the Norwich keeper, after just 2.5 minutes. Some sloppy Norwich play, but straight at Gunn. Then instantly, Adam Davies had a ball played back to him by John Egan, and he took a heavy, awful touch. Timo Pukki went to close him down, and as Davies went to clear it, it hit Pukki and ended up in the back of the net. Davies, for me, it took too long. Clever play from Pukki, I don't think you can argue that, but a really scrappy opener. And, after 4 games out of goal for the Finn, he got one at the Kop end, and I thought that was horrendous. Just an absolutely horrendous way to concede at any level, but particularly, just one stage down from the very top. The quality early on was not high, epitomised by left wing-back Ben Osborne playing the ball straight out for a throw around 10 minutes in. We then saw more misplaced passes from United. It was a kind of 3-minute spell of misplaced passes. Todd Cantwell went flying in for Norwich on 14 minutes. Looked like Todd actually slipped, but a free kick was given because he went on Norwood just over halfway. Nothing came of that free kick, despite excellent execution from Ollie Norwood. He dinked it into the box to Sharp, but the skipper was given offside. 16 minutes, Max Aarons played a long ball forward, looking for that danger man, Timo Pukki. He outmuscled, he outfought, and he outthought his man, Anel Ahmedhodzic. I don't think I'll be saying that too many times this season. And then he set himself shot, and I think Davies may be a little disappointed to let it slip through. It wasn't rifled in, but perhaps took a little nick off the defender. However, I think Davies got down late. And Norwich, despite, I'll be honest, looking fairly average, were 2-0 up as United did everything seemingly in their power to give goals away from individual mistakes. And then here we are, 30 minutes in, and Davies kept United in the contest, savouring from Josh Sargent at his near post. I thought Sargent was really dangerous for Norwich. At his near post, a strong right-footed shot, the American, but it more hit Davies than him saving it. But the keeper was in the right position, made himself big. And of course, in moments like that, that's all you need to do. You're right about that. Sheffield United FTV, shocking mistake. But he did absolutely redeem himself. And we will get to that. But Norwich kind of keeping that punt style going. United broke from a resulting corner that Norwich had after that Davies save. Sharp thought he was fouled in the build-up. And then a disappointing Osborne cross, easily cleared. Norwich punted another long ball forward. This time, Davies read it well. He headed the ball clear from outside his penalty area, and he was already learning. And that's all you can really ask from players, isn't it? If you make a mistake, do you learn from it? And on this occasion, he really read the play well, the goalkeeper. Came out, sorted something out that was then easy. Osborne beat his man on the left on 33 minutes. Good cross, and Rhian Brewster headed over at the far. Best move of the match from United at that point. On 40 minutes, United finally really tested Angus Gunn. A shot deflected from Norwood and Gunn saved, leading to a corner. It felt like, though, every United corner in the first half then led to a Canaries breakaway move. Norwich seemingly read what we were going to do with the deliveries, and I think that's probably because Tommy Doyle wasn't starting. I think he takes a really nice corner. Norwich got a free kick in a dangerous position on 42. Norwood fouling his man on the edge of the box. Chilean international Núñez took it. It took a deflection off the United wall for a corner. McAtee had one decent shot over the bar in the half, but otherwise, I want to see a lot more from United's creative midfielder. He needed to impose himself much more and take on the Norwich back line. You know, it had players like Gibson and Hanley. That isn't the quickest defence. And arguably, this was a game designed for Khadra and Iliman Ndiaye. And the half ended with a Gunn save from an Osborne deflected shot. Ozzy seeing more of the ball seemingly than any other Blades player in that first half. He didn't necessarily do well with it, but he saw a lot of the ball. Norwich 2 up at the first half. And I have to say, I thought deservedly so at that point. You know, yes, Hecky did try something different. Davies did make that mistake. Defence was poor, but he did right the ship. And absolutely, you've got to give credit where credit is due. So here we go into the second half. Iliman Ndiaye on for that ineffective McAtee at the break. Cantwell then thought he had a shout for a penalty on 50 minutes. Baldock came across and Cantwell would say that the Greek defender barged him over. Josh Smith, the referee from Bedfordshire, I mean, he had a interesting game. Let me know your thoughts on the referee. But he wasn't interested in that. So then you ask the question, if no penalty, is it a booking for diving? And what would have been a second yellow for Cantwell. And I think you got a very different game, although the Blades couldn't beat, 9-men Blackpool, but that's by the by. Different team, different day. Norwich's tactics seem to be, at the start of the second half, to let Sheffield United have the ball in wide areas, knowing they can repel any crosses that our wing-backs put in what was a very open second half, particularly early on. You had a bit of a lull, then it was open again. Sharp and Hanley, the two captains coming together as Norwich's defender, I thought, kicked Sharp in the knee when he was prone on the ground, shielding the ball by the byline, free kick given on that right-hand side. But I thought there could maybe have been more there. Sharp was really, really cross with Grant Hanley, and I think quite rightly too. Norwood's cross was absolutely boobar. After good work from George Baldock on 55, the ball fell to Iliman Ndiaye. That man, he changes games, doesn't he? He had 2 bites at the cherry and then fired over. I thought that was a really great moment in the game where if it had gone in, I really do think we see a different result. But there was also an off-the-ball instant when this was happening with Sharp and Dimitris Giannoulis. And Josh Smith had to figure it all out. He had words with Billy Sharp and issued the skipper a yellow. Sharp was cross with the Norwich left-back who pushed him. And in my opinion, he bought Billy Sharp that yellow by pretending, that Sharp headbutted him, that he trod on his little toe. I don't know. I didn't make anything of it. If you saw more than me, if you're a Norwich fan watching this and you reckon that Sharp deserved that yellow, try and prove it to me. The tempo was certainly increased during this spell from the Blades. Norwich were playing football the Norwich way and doing everything in their power to slow it down. Fleck went off. Let me know what you thought of Fleck. Man City loanee Tommy Doyle replaced him on 56. And this is when things started to click. Sharp turned in the box on 62. His shot was blocked. And that man, Ben Osborne, finished in the bottom corner from close range on that left-hand side. And it was game on. His first goal since the 24th of October, 2021 against Barnsley at Oakwell. And then Ollie McBurney and his hernia came on 64 minutes for Rhian Brewster. Ollie McBurney would have a big impact in this game. But what was really frustrating, Norwich players were going down quite easily and the referee was giving them some serious theatrics and antics, giving them the fouls. Hanley nearly profiting from one of those. Núñez had a free kick given. I didn't think it was a foul in the build-up to that one on 66. And at the far post, Hanley just missed it. Could have been very, very different. And Paul Heckingbottom was absolutely infuriated by Norwich players, so much so he was booked on 69 minutes. Giannoulis fouled McBurney on 70, picking up a yellow, following a little shove in the back, to be honest. I think the Scot made the most of it. But Giannoulis was then subbed off slowly. Annoying player. 71 minutes, United on level terms. Ollie McBurney with his 6th of the season. Didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season, but he has deserved his goals, and the Blades deservedly equalised. Norwood crossed, headed back across the face by John Egan, and Ollie McBurney in the right place, sliding it in from close range. Ballistic. I went. What about you? Norwich then went up in the gears instantly. They instantly upped the gears. Claims for a penalty on 74 for the away side. Thankfully, nothing doing. It was never a pen. I mean, I don't even need to see it again. Then Iliman Adai thought he was fouled in the box. This was straight from that appeal for Norwich's pen. And Josh Smith, the referee, ignored those appeals. It was end-to-end stuff. Onel Hernandez was brought on, a player I like, caused problems when he came on, down that left-hand side, tricky, pacey player, had a shot himself and set up Nunes, another annoying player, for a long-range strike, which was over the bar on 77. It looked like, and I said this at the time, no one was listening, it looked like two teams both going for the win at this point. Sharp fired one over the bar on 79. Cadra was then brought on for Billy Sharp in front of the 30k plus attendance at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane, and it felt like whichever side went on to win this compelling game would be hugely galvanised for the rest of the season's run in. It could have even been, if one team had won this, that you could have said, that team's going to get promotion. I don't really think it would have been that crucial, but you could have said it. Great atmosphere as well. Great atmosphere from the Lane faithful. What's been needed? Osborne did so well to keep a Norwood pass in play on the left on 84, then put a decent cross in, and Ollie McBurney headed it at gun. Unlucky from the number 9. We would see more of that. Penalty for Norwich on 86. What did you make of this? Josh Smith ignored their first appeal, but not the second. The first was actually outside the area anyway. A foul on Hernandez, possibly. I didn't think so. The second, Egan went in on the Norwich man, Nunes, and the ref felt it was enough. Timo Pukki took it, and Davies, Adam Davies. Today, we spell redemption A-D-A-M. Redeemed his earlier error and saved to his left. I'll be honest, not a good pen for Pukki, not far enough in the corner, not enough power on it, but a good save, a really good save from the keeper. Of course, if Davies goes the other way, it looks like a good penalty. Norwich end up winning the game, and that's all anyone's talking about, but he saved it. And that's the thing with Davies. He did things right. I've already mentioned he got his body big for an important save from Sargent. He came out and read the ball well when it was played over the top because he realised that was Norwich's game, particularly in the first half. Punts forward, he read it, and then he made the save. So 3 really important things. Into the final minute of normal time, and it felt like anyone's game. And you saw that 7 minutes added on. The crowd then really rose to their feet, cheering on the Blades. 93 minutes, McBurney header 4 yards out, saved from gun after a cross from that man, Ben Osborne. Then Osborne had a shot blocked. Some called for handball. I don't think it was. I mean, it might have hit the hand, but the hands were not in an unnatural position. Again, I probably need to see that a few more times. Norwich, though, throwing bodies at everything. Huge couple of chances, that 93-minute spell. McBurney knows he had a lot of goal to aim at. He did head it down, which any coach will tell you is the right thing, usually. But on this occasion, it was straight at gun. McBurney had another headed chance. That was wide on 95. Ollie made a big difference in this second half, a really, really big difference. And unfortunately, that was all she wrote. The points were shared. What did you make of that one? Hell of a game. Let me know in the comments below, Blades. I thought it was a game that we will look back on as maybe saying that's when we started to see Sheffield United again. Second half, anyway. Referee as well. I mean, what did you think of that refereeing performance? It was a good point, says Dave Gill. Depends on what happens going forward now. Agree with that. Let's hope that's the end of our bad run. And it has been an absolutely terrible run. I mean, what is that now? 3 points out of 18, he thinks. I'm not very good at maths. Norwich constantly played the ref. They did. He bought it every single time. I thought that was what you kind of see with Norwich. And unfortunately, a strong ref is going to say, I'm not having that. If you're just going to keep going down with soft fouls, I won't give them, and then they won't keep doing it. Andrew says, when are you going to get a fair referee? What is going off with all the cheating? McBurney could have got a second anywhere else from their goal, and it was in. Yeah, I think that's true, and that's pretty much exactly what I was saying with that. It was though straight at gun. Just started watching, so I don't know if it's been mentioned. Do you think Egan's starting to be a liability, Kevin? The thing with John Egan is we need to get John Egan thinking he's wearing green, thinking he's playing for the Republic of Ireland every game, because he has an absolute stormer for his international side. He's had a few dodgy moments for the Blades recently, but Egan is still Egan. I've got nothing but faith in him, and he's just going through a bit of a wobble, and actually so's the team. And it's at times like this where really great supporters get behind the lads. And I'm reading a lot of things. Twitter's getting as bad as Facebook. Halftime was an absolute cesspit of people saying really, really unpleasant things about Paul Heckingbottom and his coaching staff. And he answered a lot of those critics second half and got it right. He got it wrong first half, but a manager that says, hold my hands up, I got it wrong, and changes things, and then it works, well, what more can you ask for? Get it right first time is what more you can ask for. Chris says, could have been a few tricky deflections for him after going 2-0 down to Osborne. Could have smashed that second chance at the death. That extra touch cost him. Thing with Osborne, right, there's a lot of people having to go at Ben Osborne as well. He has been out for ages. I mean, a really bad injury. He's come back in. If you ask Ben Osborne, I think where he would like to play, it would be central midfield, that Tommy Doyle, that John Fleck position. Unless there's a lot of injuries, and hey, there are. He's not going to get in that position. Now, he did start in the previous game like that, but then, of course, Reece Norrington-Davies got injured, so he had to go to left wing-back. I don't think Ozzy wants to necessarily play there. So I think he's doing as well as he can, given the fact that he's coming back from a long injury layoff. And you know what? It takes professional footballers a couple of games to get back into their stride. Well, it took him less than that. I mean, second half, he was just really, really useful and a great outlet and saw a lot of the ball. And, you know, the players obviously trust him because they kept passing to him. And I thought he did all right. Dublin Blade, welcome back. Hal, I think what really turned the crowd was the incident with Sharp. Really got the crowd going. I think this could be a turning point. I love reading that. I really hope this is a turning point for the Blades, because that was a good game, second half, a good game of football. We saw what difference the changes made. I think every Blade now would pick the same first 11 for the next game. What's going to be crucial, though, is what that man, Paul Heckingbottom, decides ahead of the next game. We shall see. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with more championship predictions, match previews, and podcasts. You are spoiled. Make sure you are subscribed. Thank you very much.